What up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Gen Report. I'm your host, Pablo, and joining me, as always, is Mr. Brian Schultz. Superman updates. I was gonna say Super Pets 2, but, but Superman updates, man. Runtime. There's been some more test screenings and some
Mm-hmm.
rumored casting, and then we'll get a
Mm-hmm.
little bit into Constantine 2, a movie that I care not the least bit in. And it seems Keanu Reeves is very disappointed in the script that they've turned in for that movie. Superman. Brian, what do we got with the runtime? What has been said in the test screenings? And what rumored casting have you heard?
So first off, the movie's done. They said James Gunn is locking the final cut this coming week. So studios on board. They've finished their last test screenings. Everyone seems happy with what they've got, and I think a couple things that are notable. Final cut length is 2 hours and 2 minutes. It's tight. I think that's a good sign. We talked about this from the beginning. Well, all the stuff they seemed like they were trying to cram into this movie, 2 hours is where you want to be. The audiences have spoken on these types of movies. They don't want 3 hours unless it's endgame, unless you've earned the right to finish something. So I think that's a very good sign. Hollywood Reporter kind of had like a, I don't know what to call it. They kind of went through and debunked a lot of stuff that's been in the news. So did Superman have reshoots? Yes and no. They did 3 days of additional pickups in Atlanta. No story changes. No, it was entirely just like, hey, I want to do this same shot from a different angle, a little bit of tweaks to existing. They did not change anything. So
Okay.
James Gunn ultimately was effectively true to his word that he's not a reshoot guy in the traditional sense of the word. So 3 days of pickups. Little stuff. They brought in a second composer. You've been hearing some of their work in this sort of remix of the John Williams score in the trailers. That apparently is part of the movie as well. But they were like, no, they didn't fire the composer. It's just two people collaborating on trying to do this sort of remix and modernization of the Superman themes that we all know and love from the Williams movies. The last batch of screenings, this was interesting. The last batch of screenings apparently went really well. So they said the 2 hour cut was like a consensus. Like audiences liked it that they showed it to. The studio liked it. But what was interesting is they said two things that I thought were notable. They said this is Gunn the way he normally works. Gunn is a screenings guy. Like Gunn likes to throw material at the test audience as an experiment to see, would this work? Can I do this? And then he kind of reworks a lot. So that was kind of a positive spin on this buzz that we were getting through the early screenings of like people being polarized. They were like, that's some of that they're trying to say is James Gunn was actually deliberately kind of messing around to see what would work. What I thought was notable is they said in the final cut, the number one thing that was dialed back was the humor.
Okay.
So that might imply that James Gunn was doing a little more of the Gunn stuff early on to see what he could get away with. The audiences kind of told him where the line was, and he pulled it back to try to strike that balance. To me, all this sounds good. It sounds like a ship that's at least sailing in one decisive direction, and they're going to be on time, ready to go with whatever it is they want to show us. So, let's get there. But like all the buzz seems good now. We'll wait for the reviews. Trailer response has been really good, especially to the most recent one. Like I would say it's probably been stronger than you and I had. But audiences really like the most recent trailer and are fired up about the movie. So I think they're positioned. They're in position. If they can get good reviews, I think they can get like 80, 85% Rotten Tomatoes, like 65% Metacritic. They get in that territory, they might be able to make a run at, the kind of opening weekend that would put 800, 900, maybe even $1 billion in play.
Yeah. That was one of the biggest concerns for me is James Gunn humor in there, because quite honestly, I don't find him that funny.
Yep.
And that has always been one of the parts of it that I don't enjoy in terms of dialogue that goes nowhere just for the sake of being funny. It's just so, and then that's the thing. If the jokes don't land, you just wasted 10 minutes or 5 minutes of
Yeah.
what you were trying to do. So I'm glad that the audience told him that, and he listened, which is good. That means he's not one of those guys that, I find it funny, so I'm gonna put it in there anyway. No, 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 no. Just to give a little bit of context, when I'm editing something for a client, I give him a draft that I feel like, hey, I think this works, right? Sometimes it's very unusual to get back, this is great. No changes. Perfect. Very unusual.
In our tidbit show, we got one project where that did happen. Save that.
So listen, man. I know several people that are excited, especially shout out to Will Beats. I gotta do more shout outs to the people who comment on the comment section. Because they show up every episode to say something or comment on something that we've talked about. But yeah, there's a lot of excitement. There's countdowns to this day, to this movie. I hope I don't miss the moment when they announced that the tickets are on sale. I want to get my seat ready.
I was looking the other day. It's not on sale yet, but I was looking the other day. I was like, I want to get that
Has there
IMAX
been any
seat.
time frame there
I
for
would
an
guess
announcement?
about a month out. So I would guess like first, second week of June.
June?
So we're going to be close. Yeah, we're going to be close. I would think
Because
about a
when is it
month.
coming
Yeah.
out?
July 11th.
Okay.
Wait, July 11th, except Prime Premiere. Okay, let's talk. Okay, we didn't talk about this. Can we talk about this for a second? This is like the Amazon getting ready to acquire DC. Let us show you something that you never thought about. Prime Premiere. Superman will be the first movie that has this feature. And I haven't seen it even advertised much on the Amazon site, so people look out for this. But I read an article that they were doing this. If you are a Prime customer, you will have an opportunity to participate in a screening of Superman on July 7th, 4 days before the world gets to look at the movie. And it's like certain theaters, certain cities, like Amazon's basically bought them out, blocked them off, and only Prime subscribers get access to an early purchase ticket window to get a seat for those showings. I mean, I'm going. Like, if you're a Prime customer and you have any interest at all in this genre, why are you not doing that? So that just seems like an easy layup for early box office buzz, audience, all that sort of stuff. Second of all, is if you're not a Prime customer, that's actually at least probably going to rope a few people in to be like, maybe I got to sign up because this is going to be the first of, I'm a movie person. I get to see a bunch of blockbuster movies early without some of the bustle and the noise, and I get a better. I read that and I was like, what they're just doing is showcasing something for when Zaslav is ready. We're getting that business. Nobody's getting that because we're showing these tools and tricks that we can do with the projects that other people haven't tried. I think it's genius.
Yeah. Amazon is slowly inserting themselves into the number one spot. The first call that David Zaslav is going to take when it comes to selling DC for a few $billions. Because Amazon has it. They got it. You know what it will be? Who knows? But they're setting themselves up to really take advantage of this. We've already seen the fingerprints with them showing having Cape Crusader, and now this is inevitable, I think. But rumored casting, Brian.
Yeah. Okay. So the movie itself sounds like we're in pretty good shape. Excitement is high. Then this dropped out of nowhere. So, a couple of things. One is the latest screenings, there were conflicting reports about the post-credit whatever for this movie. There had been rumors there would be a Brainiac something
Ah,
in the post credit of this movie. In the final screening, people reported that was not the case, but there was this sense of like, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It just means they didn't put it on the screening. So just
Mm-hmm.
file that one away as like a we don't know, and contrast that to the Fantastic Four screening where they did include a post-credit scene.
Which is
So,
unusual, I think.
which also you could say was maybe Marvel trying to feel out like how people are thinking. But anyway, TBD on a Brainiac something in this movie, in the post-credit or in the movie otherwise. But then came a wild rumor in the last 2 days that none other than Daniel Craig may have traded in his interest in Sergeant Rock for actually signing on to be DCU's Brainiac, including some participation in Superman in this movie. No idea if that's true. Don't have verifications from a ton of sources, but that is now going around. I'm there for that
Oh yeah.
because
Oh
he's
yeah.
got the voice to give you the Brainiac delivery, I think, really in a really interesting way. And then if you choose to make a physical manifestation of Brainiac, which you've seen before, Craig, obviously you can do anything you want with him. But I mean, I think that it seems he seems way overqualified for the part. But if they manage
Perhaps
to
somebody
swing that,
pitched him. Perhaps somebody pitched him like, "Hey, look at What's his dude name that played Thanos?
oh, Josh Brolin.
Yeah, Brolin. Look at him, yo. He is up there in terms of villains with Darth Vader and all these other guys. Your name could be added to that list, especially with what James Gunn is doing and what he's attempting to do with the IP and bringing these comic book characters to life. This could be an opportunity for him to do some perhaps easy work for now, anyway, until Brainiac is fully revealed as a foe for the Justice League. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe he's friends with Paul Bettany too, who told him you can make a lot of money as a voice without having to show up for a number of years. Remember, Bettany used to talk about, hey, they gave me a sack of cash. I just said some lines as Jarvis, and he's like, I'm kind of bummed I got to work now as Vision. But like, maybe Craig is smelling the same thing. He's like, I can go a couple years, make some real checks. I mean, this at the end of the day, though, this is an iconic character, so it's not like he's be lending his voice to a nothing. I mean, no one's really pulled this off in live action, so.
Well, they did a live action version on Bernie from that show Krypton.
Well, and Smallville, yeah. On the small screen, they've done it. Like James Marsters played him on Smallville and that sort of stuff. But I'm saying in the movies, they've never even gone near this. Which is
And that's something that we've all sort of been looking forward to seeing, right? We're tired of the
Zod, and
but
it's a
yeah,
win. I
man.
mean, it's a win for DC if he's if
Hells yeah.
he's if he's on board to do that for multiple films. That's a shocking win for James Gunn in the DC universe.
Yeah, man, it's almost here, man. Superman.
So let me ask you that because we're almost here. We've had an up and down road a little bit with the sort of prep and promotion of this movie. I am feeling like I'm in a good place. Where are you at kind of going into this? I feel like they kind of ultimately they did it. Like they didn't screw up the lead up to this to where I was just like out on the project.
I haven't outside of I mean, I get it, with crypto and all. I get it, what they're trying to do and stuff like that. It doesn't bother me as much as some people perhaps may portray it out to be in terms of me not fitting the crypto thing. So far, he's done a fantastic job in keeping it under wraps and not revealing too much for us to be like, we know how this is going to end.
Mm-hmm.
He showed us just enough overall with the teaser and then the trailer. The trailer gave us what we were looking for in terms of people speaking. I'm not too sure about Nicholas Hoult, Brian. I'll be honest with you, Lex Luthor.
I'm with you.
That is, I don't know. And I was talking to, I think Freddie or Tracy about it. Shout outs to them. Is Nicholas Hoult not just? I don't think this is his thing. And he's tried out for Batman. They didn't give it to him. He's tried out for Superman. They didn't give it to him. That's not his thing. They
He's a
gave
pretty
him a
good
villain
beast. He's a
role.
pretty good beast. He wasn't terrible as Beast, young Beast. Not my
I when I
favorite, but I
think of
mean, like,
Beast,
I
I
didn't think he was
think
that bad.
when I
You
think
didn't
of
like it,
Beast, I think of
Kelsey
Grammar.
Grammer. Okay,
Yes,
yeah, older Beast. Yeah, I get it.
yes, older Beast, and you put if you look at his Beast full screen and his face, that is to me that is Beast, and
Well,
just the
that's
voice.
so part of the challenge, and I don't think it's Nicholas Holt's fault. He's a really young looking guy.
Yeah,
He was his features are boyish features, which means there's just certain parts where like you need to look older. And I think the jury's out as to how old you need to look to play Lex effectively in a grown-up Superman. Obviously, Michael Rosenbaum's playing him in a young world of young Clark. That's one thing. But even he looked more mature with the bald head and the bald cap. The Holt just looks young and he sounds young in the trailer. And that's the one thing where you're like, Lex has never been a young, like Lex is like my version of Lex in my mind is always like trying to think of like it's like you'll get the analogy. He's like a Sam Elliott in the sense of like Sam Elliott as an actor. Can you visualize Sam Elliott as a young actor?
no.
He's been the point is he's been 65 for 100 years. He looks the
I was
same with the
watching
same mustache. Tombstone.
I was
He looks the
yeah.
same as he does now.
Tombstone. I'll go back further. Patrick Swayze in what's fight? No,
Roadhouse.
no.
Roadhouse.
Yes,
Roadhouse.
yes, yes.
It's the same guy. So my point is, he's never young. That's my thing. Lex is not a kid ever in my mind. Like he just is always CEO, in charge, megalomaniacal, diabolical, scheming adult Lex. And I just, when I saw and heard him in the Fortress in this trailer, I was like, is that it? And I'm like, I don't know. And we talked about it at the time. So I'm with you.
We'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. Because there are moments where we see him not speaking, but showing some emotion.
Anger, sadness. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see what that is all about. The jury's still out on that. The jury's still out there. There's a lot of concern and some curiosity, but not excitement for his
So,
portrayal.
but like I just asked the question because it felt like around the Super Bowl, the Puppy Bowl, we were kind of in the wilderness, right? We didn't really like how they handled promotion there. They fired the head of marketing on this movie right around that time. And so it felt like they had lost some momentum. But I feel like with this most recent trailer and some of the other stuff they did on marketing, like it felt like they kind of brought it back. I feel like the buzz is there. I think they have in a very crowded summer marketplace, they have put a stamp down of like, yeah, there's an audience that is excited and wants to be ready on July 11th or July 7th to go see this movie.
Yeah.
On Superman, no, we got one other DC note, but yeah, on another project they keep trying to bring back for some reason.
So a script was handed in for Keanu Reeves to look over, and he's not happy with the result or where they're trying to go with Constantine. How long has it been since the first one?
So it's 20 years. 2005 was when it came out.
You like this movie, right? The first one.
It's like yes.
I know Tracy.
It's like a solid 3-star movie to me. If that makes sense.
Okay. I never really watched. I haven't seen it. I've seen in terms of the portrayals of Constantine. I've seen the animated one. I think Justice League Dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I was and I was fine with it, but it's never been my thing. I'm just not excited for it. Even if he had said this script is amazing, I just don't really. I have no excitement whatsoever for it. I think this is niche, and I don't know what do you think is the reason behind trying to bring this back?
Oh, well, the reason is obvious. It's because think about where Keanu Reeves was as an actor in 2005 versus where he is now. So in 2000 when they this movie to me, this whole franchise to me very much reflects the ebb and flow of him as an actor. So think about when this would have been greenlit and shot. It's coming off The Matrix, right? So he has hits big with The Matrix. They announced this around the time of Matrix Reloaded or whatever. They shoot it in 2003, 2004. They put it out in 2005. So he's uber hot when this hits. Obviously, the other Matrix movies don't do as well. Certainly, Revolutions. He kind of goes into his personal wilderness for the next 10 years and then reemerges with John Wick. And now, because John Wick has become this all corners, multi-generational type franchise and talking point, now all of a sudden there's appetite to bring this back because Keanu has a personal affection for the character. I mean, that's the why of it. Let's be clear. Like, that's the why of it. When I say I like it, and I say it's a solid 3-star movie, nowhere in that should you hear, I left that movie excited for Constantine 2. It doesn't need a sequel. I mean, I know that the character could, with what he does, could technically do that forever. But I don't know that I need to live with this character over and over and over again as the centerpiece of a trilogy or a quadrilogy. Like, I don't care. Like, whether this movie gets made or not, I don't care at all.
These are one of the situations where you have an opportunity. If you're going to do Constantine, you have an opportunity to recast and redo and start a franchise or start his involvement in this world. I don't think Keanu Reeves, I mean, is this a one and done? I mean, and if so, how do you then do? I mean, you could do still Justice League Dark if you have plans for that in the future. But his involvement, Constantine's involvement in the supernatural, you're gonna get Keanu Reeves. I mean, like,
and honestly, I think the character's better suited to that. I think the character's better suited as, like, if you want to bring him in as part of a small team or something like that. I think it's more enjoyable now. I mean, again, there's been other versions. I mean, he's been in the Arrowverse. I mean, there's a version of these characters floating around both in live action and in animated. I think the issue, here's my fundamental issue with doing this, is since you've never seen it, it's kind of just a variation on Keanu. Like, if you, or at least the way he plays it, he's basically wearing the same suit that he wears as John Wick and the same suit that he wears as Thomas Anderson, minus John Wick's tactical bulletproof gear. But he's always wearing like a black suit with a black tie kind of pulled down. And the only difference is he smokes. But it's not, and the hair's a little shorter. It's not, the point is, it's not that different. See, this is where I'm like, how much of the same guy do you really want to see? Like, in a weird way, I found it more enjoyable when Keanu visited Bill and Ted, because at least that way he was kind of tapping into this comedic side of himself that he hadn't really worked on for a long time. But to me, like, I remember watching Constantine in the moment, and even as I was enjoying the movie, kind of being like, he just kept his costume from the Matrix version, like where he's sitting in the computer software company. He just kept that costume, walked straight onto the Constantine set. They handed him a cigarette and off he went. Like, I wonder if people are going to see this and be like, so John Wick got a haircut? Like, I don't know that that's what you really want. And if that's a really big hit in the making, I'm not convinced. I think there's a part of me that wonders if part of the reason he wants to do this is because he wants a franchise that isn't so physically demanding. Because there's a thing out right now where he talks about like how painful it is to be John Wick. And I believe it, like, because he does a lot of his own stunts, right? And I think he might be looking for an off-ramp, even though he's signed to do John Wick 5, which I don't even know, what is that, the Afterlife? Because he's dead, right? The end of the fourth one, spoiler alert. They signed to do John Wick 5. So I don't know how many more of those he really has in him. So maybe he's looking for one where he's like, yeah, I can kind of just walk around and rely on the effects department to do most of the work. And I can keep going and getting my big checks and having a franchise. Constantine might be an easier way to do that for him, but this is not a big hit. Like if they do it, they better budget this at like 60 to 75 million dollars. The first one made, so the weird thing is the first one wound up making like, I think it was like 250 or 300 worldwide. So I shouldn't say that it's like not a hit, but I don't know that I
It's
don't know that this one would
it,
do much more than that.
it's like, for me, it's like Dumb and Dumber 2.
That didn't go well. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just been too long. Even though I was looking forward to seeing Dumb and Dumber 2, but it just didn't work after so long of a break. I don't know. I think it's just time to start this new again. And I don't know if I want to see Keanu Reeves be Keanu Reeves anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's where it's like, if you did like, let's say Mangold does Swamp Thing and they use that as an entry point to bring Constantine into the universe. Like, do you want that Constantine to be Keanu Reeves, or do we just want it to be someone else? And I think we might be ready for it to be someone else.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, let us know in the comment section below what you guys think of the latest Superman updates, and Daniel Craig possibly being Brainiac. That is
That's
going to
wild.
be, yeah. I think when I read that, I was like, oh, this can work. This can work because he has that. He can do that. He can do that. I think he can do. I think he can do anything because he's that good. But and also let us know what you guys are you looking forward to seeing a possible Constantine too. Like, do you care? Like, do you care enough based off of seeing the first Constantine that it warrants a Constantine 2? And if it warrants a Constantine movie, do you want to see Keanu Reeves play it? I think it's time for somebody else, man. We got to give other people an opportunity, especially if you cast for it correctly, for this to be a long and ongoing thing. This could be your Doctor Strange, but with a different actor. Not Keanu Reeves. I don't know if I want to see Keanu Reeves talk the way he talks for, you know what I'm saying? I'm over it already.
Which he does, by the way. His Constantine affect is like the same soft-spoken voice, man of few
Yeah,
words. It's the
man.
same.
It's
It's the
like,
same. Yeah.
come on, man. It's time for some. And it's just like, listen, it's similar to we've talked about it in the past about this possibility and this ongoing rumor of Denzel Washington playing Magneto. I don't want to see it. I don't. My X-Men. I don't want to see none of that. I don't want to see it. My mutants. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. You can make him Blue Marvel and let him talk about his past and stuff. I don't know. But don't make him Magneto, yo. Come on.
I don't know how you could watch
Because
Gladiator
you're gonna
2 and want that.
recast. I'll just tell you that right now. You're gonna recast at some point.
Yeah. I don't know how you could watch Gladiator 2 and want that. I'm sorry. Like, I just, if you think he was great in Gladiator 2, I'm not sure we can have a conversation. And I think,
No, we
and
can't.
Denzel's one of my favorite actors in my lifetime. And that is, to me, was indicative of just sort of where he's at in his career and just what's appropriate, what he's interested in and what he's not. And to
Yeah.
me, like if they have to cajole him into playing Magneto in his 60s, he is showing up for the check and he's not giving us a performance that we care about.
Yeah. I think the portrayal of Magneto in the cartoons and even Fassbender, I think they stick very closely to who Magneto is. Having Denzel play Magneto, you're gonna see Denzel and not Magneto.
There is one of the things that's interesting, since we're on this tangent, the age bracket that I perceive Magneto to be in the animated series, weirdly, is not one that they've typically gone for. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
McKellen, even in '99, looks and plays older than I think the animated Magneto is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Fassbender obviously was meant to be younger because of the formative years. So my point is, there's this lane of like, the 50-ish, 45 year, 50-ish looking and acting Magneto that for some reason they just haven't wanted to go to. But I think it's actually the one that is closest to what we see in the animated, where he kind of has the gray hair, but he's still prime of life physically, prime of life mentally, and has all that power. And I'm like, that seems like a great part. I mean, why do we have to talk to Denzel in the twilight of his career as like, hey, will you do this favor for us? I think if you shop that part properly, almost any actor that's in that age range or close to it would be like, shoot, I'll do that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Who's your favorite out of the two? Which one do you prefer? Or preferred in their movie roles as Magneto?
Fassbender.
Yeah. And he can still do it.
I wouldn't bring him back just because of the association with the priors. I wouldn't. Yes, you're right. He could still do it. I watched The Agency the other day. That was a good show, by the way, on Paramount. But no, I like the emotional trauma of Magneto that he brought to the screen. That's why. And honestly, I don't think that McKellen was asked to do it. Right, his version of Magneto is farther along. But I liked the torture that Fassbender put himself through on screen for you to see. That to me was very core to who Magneto is.
I like that scene on the plane. Where were you, Charles?
Yes.
Where were you? Yeah. Let us know in the comment section below what you guys think of all this. And hit that like button, and we'll see you next time on the Nerd Gen Report.